Cheeky bum time. Danny's already been on this with Gabby Bonglahor, so now we've subbed in Michael Brown. Just having a conversation about things that happen in the game, things that people might not know about, stories, etc. Use whatever language you want. Doesn't really matter because it's a podcast,
It does.
Well, maybe for your own image, but there have been others who don't care. Let's put it that way. I want to talk about... I try not to date these podcasts, but I will say that this weekend, today, Mike Dean is due to officiate his 500th Premier League match. I think he's been part of the select group of referees since the year 2000. That's 20 years. 500 games.
What do you want us to say about
well,
it? You're looking at two people here. Probably
boxers,
worst people you can ever
boxers,
play
they always say, like, have one fight too many.
Yeah.
I think he's referees 499 games too many.
499.
Yeah, I think he should have retired a long time ago. I mean...
Because he's a character, isn't he?
Well, is he a character? Refereeing has changed. And you go back, referees, when we were playing, the best referees are the ones that went unnoticed.
Yep.
You know, the referee should just referee the game. It's a difficult job, we all know that. But just get on with it and just referee. And the best referees were silent and just allowed things to happen. Now it's all about showbiz, so they want to be like the centre of attention. And how many times, we've seen him doing celebrations and all sorts about getting his own decisions right. I mean, it's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I think, and you see him like he was a Tranmere fan, he's at Wembley and he's hamming it up and all the rest of it. Get a grip, mate. You know what I mean? You're not, if you were talented, you'd be a footballer.
Harsh words.
Very harsh words. He probably obviously didn't get on with us two along
but
the way.
What have you not seen? Because it's a podcast there. Brownie's nodding away.
I've not said anything. I'm just looking. No, I know what you're saying regarding, the not to be seen, not to have any sort of character. But on the other hand, we're sort of criticising them for not being around, not having any personality, not seeing the other side of the referee. So I can see why he's done it. Has he possibly got in a wrong situation at the wrong time regarding Tranmere? Is it a little bit too much? Possibly. The only thing I'd say is when I find the referees, the ones who'd actually play the game with you, and actually talk you through it. You understand when you're frustrated, when there's something had gone against you, and some just can't even have that. They're actually just, it's black and white, that's it, there's the decision, and they struggle with it, and you've got to understand with the game. And he's been around for such a long time, and I'm sure we'll see him officiate.
I think sometimes now that there's a power in the arrogance of some of the referees, not all of them. Like Brian said, the best ones would chat to you, and you'd have a go at the referee and say, look, I'm sorry, I just didn't see it, or that's not the way I saw it, or they'd run past on the way back, and you'd be cursing and swearing and whatever, and they take it and they just go, look, this is how I saw it, and you go, okay, fair enough. You're annoyed, but they would talk to you. There are some referees now that just go, don't talk to me.
That bad?
Yeah, they can't.
They're so dictatorial. They're so authoritarian. It's like, no, don't. How dare you speak to me? It's like, respect's a two-way thing. You've got to give out some respect to earn respect. And I think there are certain referees that don't really give out too much respect, but they expect it all to come their way.
Phil Dowd was the opposite, I found.
Oh, he's brilliant.
He tried to, always have that banter with you. You're saying, referee, you got that wrong. And he'll say, well, I've seen your passing today. Have you seen yours? Have you seen this?
They can have a
laugh.
laugh.
And he'll go completely the other way, and he'll say, you're having one, your team are having one.
Mark Elsey was similar.
So
if you swore at Mark Elsey, he'd turn around and swear at your back. And you go, well, that's fair enough. You take a little bit of that. And I think they're the sort of characters you need. I think because of TV, and now you've got referees on TV and the ref watches and all that sort of stuff, the role has changed slightly, and some of them want to be a little bit too famous, perhaps.
It'd be interesting if they were mic'd up though now, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
If they're actually saying, come on, and giving you a bit of stick back, and they were mic'd up and everybody can hear it.
Who was good?
That would be interesting.
Who was good at banter? Who was good at giving as good as they got in terms of comments to players? Who stands out?
Well, I think the ones we've mentioned are particularly the ones. Phil Dowd, Mark Halsey would have a go. I thought Mark Clattenburg used to have a laugh.
See, he's quite high profile.
I think I once said to Dowdy, because we did some charity stuff and bits and pieces, and so we'd done some stuff off the field, bits and pieces as well. And I think I called him a fat something. And he went, to be fair, my passing's better than yours, though. and I thought, fair play. He's come back, he's taking it on the chin. Mark Elsey was similar. He would always quite happily give you a bit back. And you don't mind that. Because I think that what they did do, they understood that it was a very emotional game, very high intense. You're on the edge a lot of the time. and they got that, and they understood that you were going to say things and do things and overstep the mark at times, but they didn't take it personally.
I think Mark Clattenburg got the balance right, because I think he was a younger one coming through. He understood, he was sort of similar age, because some of them you felt like it was an authority one, like your school teacher was telling you what to do rather than.
Well, David Ellery was a school teacher.
Yeah, so it was a bit, it was a bit like sort of rigid. But then Mark Clattenburg, I'd go to him before the game. Come on, let's have a bit of fun today. Don't just start blowing your whistle straight away. Come on, let's have a. And he'd go on then, well, but not too much. And that was like straight away. So you'd give you a couple to set a tone on a game, or if you're playing against a big side.
I think part of the problem with that is
fun,
now, because there's cameras now everywhere and people got fat and this, that, and the other. If they're seen to be having a laugh and a joke with players, suddenly it's like, they're biased. Or they're going to side with this team, or they're going to side with that team. And
they're still given the decision.
No, I don't know. But I think the fans and everything else jump on that and go. It's like when Mike Dean did the celebration. Who scored Tottenham Blair?
And then he runs off with his arms in the air.
Yeah, because he was like celebrating his own decision.
Yeah, he let play go on. So according to him, he was celebrating that.
And he's done that on a couple of occasions where he's like almost congratulated himself. Quite get that. But then of course he's like, he's biased. He clearly loves Spurs, or this, that, and the other. And I think referees have maybe become very aware, like players have, that they are being watched at every single moment, and sometimes they may be a little bit wary and a little bit scared.
I think they want to say some stuff. Sometimes they want to say, I got a decision wrong. Some of the bigger ones we're talking about actually will accept it and say, I got that wrong. And they'll happily talk about
Martin
it.
Atkinson he's a Leeds fan, Martin Atkinson, and he quite happily admits, if he was refereeing Leeds games, they'd have got promoted about 6 years ago. They'd have had 4 penalties every game. But we do the ref watch and that stuff. He'll often text me after a game. He knowing full well Tuesday morning, he might get a bit of a tough time, and he'll just say, what did you think of that decision? What did you think of this? Or what did you think of that? And having chatted to him, they're quite open. They know they make mistakes. That's not an issue.
But he's top of the tree. That's why I like him, because that's why he's top of the tree, Martin. I've had my run-ins with him like everybody in Hong Kong in the sevens. Only last year, had a drink with him the night before. As soon as the game went, didn't agree with him, falling out, and then But the point is, he understands it. He gets it right, and generally, he's a very, very good referee. And I think he's got that right sort of personality.
The other one is Howard Webb. I mean, he was a police officer, right?
Yeah, I thought Howard Webb was a good referee. I thought Graham Paul was a good referee, but then maybe he got caught up in it a little bit, as if to say, well, he was the top referee. So there's that balance all the time of
it comes down to managing. Refereeing is not necessarily the laws of the game, because all the referees know the laws of the game, and they're all going to make similar decisions and whatever. But it's managing people. It's game management and managing the players. That's what sets good referees. If you think of Kalina.
Oh.
We played Champions League semi-final against Valencia, and it was all kicking off at Ellen Road. I mean, there was tackles flying in left, right and centre, and he let the game go because he understood how, in that moment, how it wasn't going to just go, right, there you go, 3 or 4 red cards for each team. It would have killed it completely. He understood it, and and players, I think, had respect for that. When he said, finally, no, that's enough, no more, cards come out, okay. And I think that's what it is. It's understanding sometimes. It's like if you get a Liverpool-Everton derby or Man U Liverpool that's coming up, there's going to be a few maybe tasty tackles in the first few minutes, and sometimes you have to let that go a little bit.
Let it ride.
Yeah, there's still a line, but that line gets moved, I think, sometimes, depending on the enormity of the occasion.
This is the debate all the time, as I say, well, no, a tackle's it is or it isn't. And the problem is we're all never going to agree, and we'll sit there and say, well, we know he didn't really mean that tackle. It looks worse than it was, and then someone else will disagree and says, definitely that's a red card. It's not. This is the game we never got a straight answer. That's the
and the problem is fans and spectators, they want emotion, they want effort, they want people giving 100%. So in games like that, especially derbies where it means so much, if you get that, if there's, imagine Liverpool, Man United, suddenly there's 2 red cards in the first minute, game over.
Yeah.
So they've got to free it then?
I don't think it's not a free hit, but I think if it's there's a little bit of leniency, isn't there, in the first couple of minutes. But as long as it's fair, and as long as it's fair to both teams, I don't have too much of an issue with that. But I think that those big games are always refereed slightly different to other games. Same when you drop into the Championship, you've played in it, you get away with far more in the Championship than you would ever do in the Premier League. It's almost. I think the
standard of refereeing is you can get away with some stuff, but also you get decisions that are not like in the Premier League because they understand what a dive is. They see the game a little bit quicker. They let that game go on. So that, again, the standard does drop, I think, a lot when you start
massively.
to go down.
The amount of times I watch Championship games and just think, oh, if that's the Premier League, that's a straight red.
Do you know what they do as well? Is say for instance, players who have played in the Premier League, they've got a particular reputation, they've got a certain style, so they're already looking, and they look at the weekend before. And I think they shouldn't do that. They see what's happened at the weekend before. So if a particular person has done a particular tackle or a particular situation, they're already waiting, and then it changes their mindset. They're
prejudging you.
They're prejudging, and that's where they get a few decisions.
See, me and Brandon were constantly prejudged. That's why we got half our yellow cards.
And a few reds.
I only got a couple.
Just a couple, because they were straight reds.
Only a couple of reds. I got away with loads. I just used to stay on the line.
You only get 2 reds?
Oh, I got a few more.
I was going to say.
I might have 7.
Wow.
I got 7.
Did you?
But
yeah.
I should have had 27, and 2 of those 7 shouldn't have been. 3 of those 7 shouldn't have been reds.
Well, do you know what? I'm sorry. I had 7 reds, but I would say probably 3 were deserved. 2 or 3 were second yellows. 1 was a professional foul. I took Dickie down as he was going through clean on goal. I was never going. I just thought I'm taking him out.
And how did he react to that?
Not great. But it was a technical foul. But I did it. I knew it wasn't a nasty foul. I knew exactly what I was doing, and it prevented a goal. And I was happy to take one for the team. So sometimes
he'll have dropped his cigarette out of his pocket, Paul Dickoff. He literally couldn't wait to get off the pitch and have a cigarette.
But like Brian said, there are probably another 30, 40 occasions where I probably could have had a red and didn't get one. But
do you see players trying to, excuse the expression because of your surname, brown nose with a referee? Because I've heard 3-4 people publicly say John Terry was very good at going up to a ref and saying, "Hey, how are the kids? How's the wife?" And did you?
Yeah, why wouldn't you?
What would you say?
Anything. You'd always try. It's human nature. If you're clever and you keep saying to the referee, don't worry, ref. Yeah, right. Sorry about that one. Whatever. If you, are amenable and you get on with them and you sort of try and be nice to them. Of course, when it comes to that split decision, it might just be they might just go, "Oh, okay," and you might just get that decision. So you've got to play a game. It's human nature.
I'd ask for a lot of things, and then on some occasions, I'd say to them, "You got that bang on there.
Yeah,
that was definitely right." And they'd say, "Did I?"
Did I?
No, you did. Yeah, okay. You got it bang on. You made the right decision. That was the right call. It wasn't a foul, or it was a corner, or something. But that feedback's not there now. If
you're
difficult.
Constantly having a go all the time, and there's a 50-50 decision, they're going to go, "He's been a pain in the backside."
I've had that on several occasions.
He ain't getting that one.
Steve Bennett, you'd have a go at him for a little while, and he'd just walk up to you and give you a yellow card.
Yeah.
Straight away.
Yeah, but come on, it's like talking. It's not like affecting the game.
Yeah.
Just accept it. Come on. Well, you couldn't handle it.
And that's what I think. That's where the referees. It's not an easy job. We know that. I wouldn't want to be a referee. Players go. We all go over the top sometimes. But yeah, there was plenty of occasions where I probably should have had red cards and didn't get them. Said things to the referee that I shouldn't have said. But that's life, isn't it?
Did you ever get sent off for swearing or saying an obscenity?
Did you?
Yes.
Go on. What was it?
Sort of intentionally.
What did you say? You didn't say.
Was it a Christmas break?
You didn't say the cheat word, did you?
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, do you know why?
I've
gone through this several times. I was on loan at Charlton. I'll cut it really short. On loan at Charlton, I've been there, been travelling up and down, twice a week, up and down, 200 miles each way.
This is nearing the end of your career.
Yeah. Schools were lined up, everything was lined up. Deal was pulled last minute from Charlton, stitched me over. Had a house, so everything was done and dusted. 2 games before Christmas. So the game I ended up missing was Boxing Day and the game after. We played Hull at home, and I knew the situation. I knew foul and abuse of language was 2-game ban. Got to about 70 minutes in, I think, and I called the referee something. And he went, "Pardon, excuse me." So I called him again just to make sure he heard it. Straight down the tunnel. Chairman came in, Richard Murray came in, chairman, and went, "I cannot believe you've done that. That is absolutely disgraceful." I just went, "Done what?" Tried to play innocent, but I think Pardew was the manager at the time, knew exactly what I'd done.
The thing what a lot of people don't realise, when I went to manage Port Vale in League One, you have to assess the referee then, tell him what your marks were. As a club, you send them through. And we got emails back, replies actually admitting that the decision was wrong.
Did they? That
the red card shouldn't have been given. There should have been a penalty. I've still got them and collect them on the phone, but they are private and confidential. So the clubs are getting that back, where they actually admit that, but it actually has to be kept in a confidential environment, which really... It should actually be published to say, well, they've admitted it, that decision was wrong. We've seen it a little bit with VAR now, finally they're coming out, but obviously that's 3 or 4 years ago. We were getting detailed decisions which were affecting people's livelihoods, you know.
Didn't think about that.
Yeah,
okay.
So they do get it, yeah. So there's feedback there, but they don't like to admit that they've got one wrong. Yeah. You've got to really show them that evidence, fully make them aware where they've got it wrong, but there is...
And that's where I think VAR has gone wrong. Because again, speaking to Martin Atkinson, he would say, look, he said, I've made so many bad decisions. I've got so many things wrong. Not deliberately. It's, you know, you miss it, you see it from different angles.
Human nature.
There was one, was it Tottenham Spurs?
I've got a good one on Martin as well.
Where he just missed a blatant sending off as the keeper ran through, took someone out. He said, I don't know what happened. He said, I just missed it. He said, I'd have loved somebody to tell me you need to just go back and send him off. He said, but he also says he would love the opportunity to go over to the monitor, look at his own decision, and then be honest enough to go, you know what, I got that wrong, and change it. And I think there's enough integrity and honesty in the referees to do that, but they're not trusted. So all the time now, the problem is the referee's getting told by somebody else, their mate maybe, or whoever it is, that decision was wrong. And I think that's harder to take. I think as a professional, they are professionals, you know when you might have made a mistake. And if you make a mistake, you're quite happy to hold your hands up, aren't you? Go, you know what, I got it wrong. They don't have that opportunity at the moment. They're being told by somebody else, you've made a mistake and you have to change your mind, and they don't even get the opportunity to see that mistake.
They don't see it. So we were obviously, Martin Atkinson was in Hong Kong. He'd previously made the decision of Sergio Aguero in the Manchester derby where he didn't give a penalty, which was it looked a definite penalty. So Peter Reid was going up on the stage to join Martin Atkinson and a panel. So we're saying, Reedy, come get into him while you're on the stage, get into Martin about the Manchester derby, why you didn't give the penalty, see what he says, put him under pressure. So Reedy straight away after 2 seconds just put him right on the back foot, says, right, come on then, how can you made that mistake? And fair to Martin, it was 200, 300 people in the room, and he just said, yeah, got it wrong. And nobody actually ran it. That he actually stood there was cameras there, no one had run it because he was in Hong Kong, it didn't go back. But it was actually great that he fronted up and said, yeah, I think I made the mistake. And you don't often see that, and he wants to tell people where he got it wrong because he can take it, because he makes so many good decisions also. But yeah, Peter Reid, he didn't hold back, put it that way.
I think back the early 90s, do you remember they mic'd up a ref for a documentary, but they didn't tell the players? And I know Arsenal were playing.
Was it Alcott?
It might have been, yeah. Because I remember Tony Adams.
What a great name.
Was it Sheffield Wednesday or something like that?
It might, I can't remember who the opponents were.
What a great name for a referee, that, isn't it?
I just remember it was Tony Adams playing, because he called the referee many things, but the moment he calls him a cheat, that's when the referee loses it. Is that the worst thing possible? Of all the words you can use.
For referees, I think when you call their integrity
into question,
yeah, that's when they get really offended.
Well, they're able to do something about that, aren't they? Where actually some of them should just turn around and say, really, do you know, there should be bigger we shouldn't be, players shouldn't say it, but we shouldn't actually all be people to be sent off for just saying you cheat, you know, for like calling someone a name. We should be able to rise over that and sort of say, yeah, good, really, do you know, let's just. And
that's why I've also, you talked about miking up referees. I think it'd be a brilliant idea, not necessarily for the general public to hear, but all those little incidents, it would rule out, you know, if we've gone and had a go at the referee and we've called him all sorts, it's there on tape. You know, it's been recorded, it's not an issue. That's for the FA then to listen to. And, you know, when we talk about all the respect and people don't want to have a go at referees, that would change it overnight. They said, we're not...
So it's kept
in house. Yeah, we're not ready, I don't think, as a footballing, well, England as a nation, as a world, as a public, as an audience, to hear everything like rugby, because I don't think the language would be far too
I wouldn't mind
extreme.
Seeing it now. I'm not playing though.
No, yeah, but I think it would.
Yeah,
but it would be interesting.
When you played, you'd be devastated.
But you could go back to the players and you could say, actually, look, this is what you said to the referee, and you probably go, yeah, maybe that was a bit wrong.
Well, technically you kind of can now, because have you been to Stockley Park? Did you do the VAR training? Did they play you back how decisions are made? So they actually give you an example with the audio in real
Yeah,
time.
but I'm talking about, when players are having a go at referees.
Yeah,
and
but if they're still mic'd up, the mics are still there. They could use it retroactively if they wanted to.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Possibly, and the mics are there. You can hear.
I think everything should be, the referee should be an open mic.
Okay.
And whatever the players say to him is recorded and heard. Because they're not, within 4 or 5 games, Brownie, people stop swearing.
The only thing
at the
is you're going
referees.
to take a bit of passion out of the players.
Yeah, possibly.
Because really, and I know you could say it was a different way, but you're actually fighting for every decision. You're saying it's cutthroat. You're desperate for any decision to go your way, wherever you can get when one goes against you, and you're trying to affect the game that way. So it would stop a little bit of that.
I think, and again, that's when good referees will have the common sense to understand that actually we're fighting, we're against each other, me and Brownie against each other. We're battling as hard as we possibly can. We go into a tackle, something happens, doesn't go your way, and in that moment, you're emotional and you're highly charged, adrenaline's flowing, and you turn and you say something. I think the good referees go, I accept that situation, that it wasn't personal, it was just because everything's bubbling up. Yeah. It's those cold moments where it's 30 seconds later where you go up to the referee and go, ref, you're an absolute whatever. They're the things that you want to cut out, not the emotional moments where there's a clash and there's a coming together, or it's gone out he's given a penalty, and instantly you go, no way,
you're joking, no way, that's not the right decision.
And then I think it's approaching the referee, a few seconds later when it's just calmed down a little bit, when you are in control of what you're saying.
Do you think they'd like it really quiet though?
I think so.
Because nobody talking to him, nobody asking. Do they feel like that's the normal of?
Don't know. We have to ask a ref.
Do you know of actually that would be silence? No one really asking him that much in the end if it was fully mic'd up.
It was his decisions were absolute.
Yeah,
you can't
might
question
just
it.
be saying any chance, or it'd be very, very low level, not as aggressive. But
Steve Bennett might like that.
But does that take a bit? I don't know. I'm sure some of them will like it to be silent and just ref it how they want. But the game has become more like that with the new generation of players. They're coached, they're put in the position, they know from the tactics board where they're supposed to stand, rather than affecting the game in a different way, having that responsibility to sort of say, well, I'm just going to drop in here for this 10 minutes of the game, and that's the difference.
But it's talk about referees
to win or affect it.
Sin bins have been introduced now.
In the lower leagues, yeah.
So tier 5 down, whatever it is, and kids football, if a kid argues with a referee now, gets an automatic 10-minute sin bin. And that's so it's eradicating that, talking to the referee. So another 5-10 years, when those kids are coming through into the professional system, they're never going to chat to the referee because they just know it's an automatic sin bin straight away. Be interesting if they did that, and maybe they will next couple of years in the Premier League.
Well, you look at you look at the Premier League and the decisions that they get away with in the Premier League. You watch the managers in the technical areas. Yeah. Just the way out of it. And they do, oh, please, can you come back in, sort of thing. But if that's in a League One fixture, they literally got 2 seconds to get back in, or you're going to be given a
they're
card
less
or
harsh
water.
on the Premier League.
Yeah, of course they are.
Yeah.
You watch you'd see when you're actually on the video footage, you'll see a player say a swear word to him, even just a slight swear word in lower leagues, they won't like it. They'll stop it straight away. You'll get a card. So it is more lenient in the Premier League. Definitely, I think so.
Interesting. All right, moving on. Well, I just find it fascinating, some decisions which footballers make off the field. I think of Stephen Ireland and his car. The purchase, do you remember the car? The big pink Range Rover.
Or pink inside, yeah.
What's the most extravagant purchase that you've made or you've seen made by a footballer? Because obviously get paid quite a lot.
For me and Brand, it's probably buying a pair of flip-flops.
Okay, you're a bit more old.
He's just had to buy a coffee.
That's true.
Devastated.
He's not happy.
Looking around to
I had to buy him a double gin and tonic last night. That was a bit outrageous.
Who's getting that? Who's getting the coffee?
Oh, he's got a tab running. Don't worry about that. He'll expect something in return.
Yorkshireman.
Yeah, true.
Adopted Yorkshireman now, yeah.
But okay, the two of you aren't the best examples of really extravagant purchases. We should have asked Gabby Bongalhor this.
No, I don't know. I mean, I was 22, 23, bought a Porsche, bought one of the first 911, the new 911s that came out at the time.
I can't imagine you in a Porsche though.
I'd always had that boy. I loved the 964, the old one with the frog lights at the front, the proper, what I would call classic Porsche. But thought I can't buy one of them because it's too old. Bought a new one. The first Carrera 4, like the 4-wheel drive ones. One of the first ones off production. I had it 6 months, didn't like it. was uncomfortable. Gave me a bad back. Got rid of it, and then bought I bought a diesel.
A diesel.
After that,
some run around.
More practical. More practical.
And, I don't know. I've never really been like that. I've got a few average watches.
You looked at your watch there,
yeah. But nothing extreme. Nothing ridiculous. I'd rather spend my money, I think, on experiences, holidays, and that type of thing. Getting something from it.
I think that depends if it's investments, though. So if a particular watch is going to double, then you'd sort of say, well, yeah, you'd do that. But I've never been one for, like, I've had the odd car in there. So I had a SLS with the wing doors.
Oh,
so Mercedes when they first
the
came
Gull,
out.
yeah.
But I managed to get the first one, so I knew you keep it 3 months, you'll do all right. So that was the reason I got it, because you could have it for a little bit of fun, and you'd get your money back at least.
Yeah.
So, but other than that, when you're talking about these wrapped, these coloured ones, you are losing. And obviously the interior's all done now. The guys over the years have lost serious amounts of money on cars, serious amounts. And we've all changed them, all liked them, but some level you can really get punished. So very extravagant.
I mean, I think it's stupid cars that have gone for watches with millions of diamonds in, that type of thing. I
was round a player's house a couple of weeks ago, and I seen his trainer collection, and I actually, my mouth dropped.
Well, what's that about?
And I'm talking like wardrobes like this with every design and make and different colours.
So he's not sponsored. He's buying these.
He was buying.
Well, yeah,
all of these.
I'm talking.
They were immaculate every time he wears, and it was the biggest.
They're like
collection.
wrapped. A lot of them. They're like wrapped almost in cellophane. But one of my lads is into them, and he goes, "Oh, Dad, look at these." I go, "They're horrendous." He says, "But they're 800 whatever quid or whatever they are."
But a pair.
And I'm going, "Why?" He went, "Oh, they're limited edition." I went, "But they're hideous, and I would never be seen dead."
Yeah.
But also we're plain white ones. It's like, what's one of the free ones that Nike give you?
They can also be viewed as a investment as well, because the value of certain brands,
some of them do.
Like Supreme, that skyrockets.
Yeah, but something's only valuable if someone else is going to pay for it.
Yes. Well, you sell it now. You can buy it now, like a Supreme item, and you can sell it for 3 times the price online straight away because it's so limited.
Yeah, so there is some things like that, isn't it? But the extravagance is that sort of thing, isn't it? Do you know,
I mean, what was it? Was it Jacob & Co. when those watches came out, and they were just like 4 times bigger than a normal watch and just full of diamonds? And you think, I'm not being funny, but it's a Casio watch inside, just with diamonds all around it. It's not very good.
And they probably dropped 75%.
Yeah.
So a lot of the lads, I think of properties and things like that, filling the property, where lads over the years have bought particular properties, decked them out with the best furniture, the best things, and extravagant wise, it's looked good, but
we all live in.
I would say extravagance means you're getting no money back whatsoever. There's no return. When lads have had parties and they've got a band in, or they've got a singer in, and they've paid fortunes for that and whatever. That's champagne and all that type of stuff. You go, well, hang on, it's a bottle of champagne, but because it's at a certain venue and it's this, that, and the other, you've had to pay 10 times what it or 50 times what it costs. That's my version of extravagance.
Nightclubs.
Yeah.
Nightclubs with tables.
Yeah.
How much champagne can they get brought over? So then one of them will get a 30 grand bill or whatever.
And it becomes who's got the most. It becomes an outdoing competition. I've seen that so many times.
Me and Mills used to stand with a bottle of beer at the corner while they were all there.
Just watching the same bottle of beer all night.
Look at them over there and do that.
One thing I've realised about Danny is you do like your gadgets on occasion. I notice you're using the latest phone. You got the 3 cameras.
That's
on the
my
back.
biggest extravagance. That's cost me £1,000.
You got the iPad Pro with the pen, and I know you love to use it, but you could view that as an investment for work. But you do kind of like your gadgets here and there.
Yeah, but I'd like to think I'm an old-fashioned modern guy.
Old-fashioned modern guy.
Well, yeah, I've got old-fashioned values, but phone is part of my life. It's travel, it's everything, it's work. It's all those bits and bits. I couldn't survive without it.
An old-fashioned modern guy, did you say?
It's an oxymoron. But you're probably still using the original iPhone.
I've already got the first one. I've got the first one out here.
I've got old-fashioned values. You work hard, you're disciplined, you're on time, all those sort of types of things. But you still buy into the new life.
Let me just roll back. This is brilliant, this.
Yeah.
This is Malaysia.
What time did you get in the cab?
Oh, this is Malaysia.
What time have you just got in the cab
but
coming
wait,
here?
yeah, but this
2
is-
o'clock. I was in there at
Yeah, but this is what you
1:58,
don't understand.
and you got in at 2:05.
Five
So you've
minutes
just
late.
said you're
5 minutes
on
late in
time all the
Malaysia. Yeah,
time.
but I've been here so many times that 5 minutes late in Malaysia is actually 15 minutes early.
Right, okay, fine. So
That is
you
true.
knew everyone else was going to
Yes.
be late. We had to have a coffee.
So this morning I was supposed to get picked up at 11. I was down there at 11:01, and the lads were still 15 minutes away. So you get once you've been here a while, Malaysian time's a little bit lax. Timekeeping's not the greatest.
Even to get into the room to record, we had to go
Exactly.
buy a coffee.
Yeah. So we were supposed to be here to record this, and I was like, all right, we turned up on. Well, we were probably a bit late, but the place wasn't even open.
Who was, in terms of timing, during your time, who was always the latest?
Mark Viduka,
Mark Viduka.
every day.
And he just didn't care.
I wasn't bothered.
Strolled in.
We did one. We were at. So bearing in mind, Leeds training ground was what 2.5 miles from Wetherby where he lived. He's pretty much late every day. The most laid-back man on the planet. Nicest man ever. He turned up once, did a warm down in his tracksuit, keys jangling in his pocket, got back in his car and left. And we went to Borough. Gareth was captain and manager, and he said I got to the point where I just couldn't find him anymore, because he would come in and he would just go, how much? He just
Didn't care.
no, he just knew he was late, and he just went, oh, jeez, mate, I'm sorry. And it was just how he was. He was just ridiculously laid back, and he was quite happy to pay the fine.
So there was a good players pot wherever Mark Viduka
Oh, it
was.
was unbelievable.
He bought Christmas.
Yeah, it was just like, yeah, I'm sorry. Didn't it's just how it wasn't aggressive or anything with it, and but yeah, it could not be on time for love nor money.
So that's most tardy. What about yourself, Brownie? Who stands out?
For being the late.
Yeah.
I don't know. I actually don't know. I'm actually thinking who it would be.
Was everybody professional that you played? That can't be the
No,
case.
they're not all professional, but there's always a few. I can't actually single one out and say who was definitely the one.
If you had to place a bet and you were at training and say, all right, I'm going to place a bet that this play is going to be the last one in today, this is what I'm putting my money on.
There was plenty when I was at Man City, because under Keegan.
Oh, you had characters there.
Yeah, but the problem was generally, and I'm pretty sure when Brandon was a manager, training starts at 10:30. You have to be in by 10 o'clock. If you're not in by 10 o'clock, it's a fine. Because that's, you've got to give yourself preparation time and all the rest of it. Keegan was like, training starts at 10:30. The only rule is you have to be out on the pitch for at 10:30. So you've got lads arriving at like 10:27.
Just literally
walking out, one boot on, one sock on, going, well, I'm on the pitch. And you're going, and of course then it takes liberties, and he didn't like fining people. He wouldn't fine people if they were late. He'd turn up 10 minutes late, he'd go, just go for a jog and then join in. So of course, there's no discipline. And that filters into lots of other parts of the game and causes resentment as well, I think, between players, because they're turning up late. You've made the effort to turn up on time. But it's a lack of respect.
Understood.
I think when you're, there's always going to be a time where you're going to be late because there's a traffic or there's an accident or something's happened, a kid, whatever it might be. But if you're constantly doing it, I think that's just a blatant lack of respect.
I think there's one player, it was Jason Kumas when we were at Wigan.
Yeah.
And literally he'd had a decent move to Wigan, 5-year contract. He had all the ability, a wonderful right foot. He should have went on with his ability, should have done miles better. But it literally, as you're talking about timings into training, he would be in very, very last person in. He'd go and get changed in a room so the lads didn't see. So he would go and pick a different change room. That's where he'd always get changed. So the lads weren't aware where he was at, and literally just pop up as the training started. And as the training finishes, he's literally walking off, taking his clothes off, and he's back in the car before you're almost off the pitch every day.
Why?
You ask him. We can't see whether he didn't like football, whether he just seen it as work, done his job, done his training and gone. But additional work didn't do, which you needed to do. And his career was cut short, and he should have done better. But you sort of look, would this be a contributor to it? Probably wasn't. But he literally got in right as you said, like the same, 10:29 on the pitch, didn't even get changed, in, out, gone, done.
Was he friends with you?
He was a nice guy.
He was a nice guy. Okay,
yeah,
so he wasn't like isolated.
He wasn't isolated. Well, when you're in the training session, he was great. He was a nice guy. He just seen it as work, and in he come, off he went. He had his little paper that he was more interested in, a few other bits maybe. There was the horse racing or whatever, and away he went. And like I say, you see people there all day. They're at very, very early, doing the prep, buy into the whole thing, and then there's the odd ones who actually don't even like the game.
Interesting. When it comes to players getting on, who organises these team nights out? Who organises the bonding? Because you saw the City story that came out, the little bunga bunga parties, and they flew some Instagram models. Well, I'll send you a link later.
Whoever organised that wants shooting.
The fact that it leaked out, I think, is the worst part.
No, it wasn't leaked. So these models were pitched on Instagram.
Well, that's true. But not with the players, right? I mean, they were just saying, we are here.
We are here in Manchester with the players.
I mean, who organises these things?
How stupid have you got to be?
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't get that. I didn't understand that in the slightest. If you're going to do that, you do it surely in the privacy of somewhere, wherever it is. And if you're going to invite those to a girl, whatever, there's like no phones or nothing. It's completely secure and private. When they're all posing and doing this, that, and the other, I'm here with such and such. It's like, really? In this day and age, how stupid and naive have you got to be?
I don't know. You're grimacing right now. You're smirking.
I hadn't seen it, mate.
You haven't seen it?
You've not seen it?
No.
So
Explain.
basically, the post-Christmas party, Mere Golf Club. Mere Golf Club, I think it was.
Yeah, it's a nice one.
Me.
Yeah. So they've invited
it.
something like, I don't know, 20-odd Italian models.
Famous on Instagram.
And they're all
social
in the
media.
spa and all doing that. So they're all posing. We're here at the Manchester City Christmas party, whatever it is, here with all the players, all posing in all sorts of positions and, dressed, but
not really
provocatively. And you're thinking, and it even said in it that it was arranged by the club.
Yeah, and then Pep came out to say he said it was okay as well after that.
Honestly, it is just bizarre.
I'm sure that's gone down really well.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like, how stupid have you got to be? Ridiculous.
There's always someone in the dressing room who was good at that sort of thing, parties, wanting to get the lads together, wanting to go somewhere, whether it be dinner, whether it be a full night
Peter
out.
Beagrie says that. He was kept on at Everton for a long, long time because he was the party arranger.
Really?
Yeah. He got a couple of contracts off the back of that.
Biggs was funny. I learned very early with Peter Beagrie. He was funny on a night out. He got himself into a bit of trouble now
the social secretary they were called in my day. When that was what it was. The social secretary who was in charge of arranging parties, nights out, drinks, dinners, all that type of thing.
I was a young player at Man City when he was there and just coming through and seen him firsthand. And there was one or two nights which he got himself into a bit of a trouble. He thought it'd be all right, police around and all that sort of thing. But
he's not changed.
He's a funny guy. He's a funny guy, Biggs. And there's always been them sort of guys who you've organised those parties and they are healthy if there isn't any trouble out of it. You want that team spirit. You want to get everybody out. And some of your fondest memories will be that those team
Christmas nights out, fancy dress Christmas nights out,
Dublin.
all that type of thing.
I did a few in Dublin and I probably laughed for 48 hours, literally crying every day in fancy dress and certain trips.
Best costume you saw for a fancy dress?
Oh, Gary Kelly, without a shadow of a doubt.
What did he go as?
So, it was a good crowd at Leeds. But I think the first year, I think we did Army one year, just after 9/11, not the brightest idea on the planet. We did punk rockers one year, which is quite interesting. But I think Cowboys and Indians. So I mean, it's easy, innit? It's like check shirt, hat on, done.
Okay.
Pair of jeans, sorted. Gary Kelly turned up as a full Indian squaw. Had shaved his head, so had a proper mohawk, but not a pretend one. Had shaved, and just left the middle bit. And again, this was 2000-ish. He was, had the full outfit, had an axe, had a bow and arrow, sort of the moccasin type shoes, and was running down the hedgerow in Leeds, like sort of jumping over cars and all sorts.
Lunatic, innit?
Yeah.
You're thinking some effort gone into the Christmas party. It was just absolutely brilliant.
The fancy dress things now are so good, aren't they? That you can get them online. It's so much better than it was. You had to be really creative a few years ago. But they're just great days, and they're getting less and less because of that media attention, because of the trouble. That is one thing that I would say. Your team bonding days is not.
Ours used to be in Leeds. We'd go to a bar in Leeds and we'd start there, and then you go to the next bar and you knew it. And we had a couple of security guys with us.
Yeah, but imagine now the dancing on the tables.
Even towards the end of those times at Leeds, and even at Man City. So after that, the nights we had out were private. There were private rooms. The nightclub would be closed. Effectively, everything in there would be controlled, so the security guys would know who's coming in, who's coming out. There was no sort of, you had to be invited in. There was no general public around because everyone was scared that something would get out. And players do need to cut loose from time to time. And I think, that they need downtime. They need to be able to act stupidly. Sing a stupid song, fall off a chair or whatever it might be, trip up drunk. It's just being human. It's life. But because of, you have to do that now maybe in a more private environment.
In like a house, someone's home.
Well, yeah, exactly. A house party rather than going out and doing it, in a normal bar in town.
A lot of them are just cancelled. A lot of them are cancelled now. Yeah. The managers say, listen, we've had a few bad results, can't do it. And it's probably the only workplace that you can't, you've had a bad run of results, you can't go and actually have a Christmas party.
So what was the best costume you saw? You haven't answered yet.
There's just tons of costumes. I just think I really enjoyed the fancy dress Sundays, totally random in Dublin. I thought that was funny. All day, different outfits, Mr. Blobby and stuff like that.
Mr. Blobby.
No, they were all brilliant. I think it was just it's a good place that as well. That they'll let you do what you want. They'll in the pubs they actually have a little bit of sort of understanding. They say, right, we know you're going to behave a bit stupid, and away you go. So yeah, it is missed. I don't think the top end now they can do it like they were. And obviously you're saying there's private parties now, which is more difficult for them.
Well, if you're of a certain age, you might be married, so you completely understand this next question, because if I was a footballer now and I'm married, I would have to get permission from my wife probably. Yeah, I don't care if I'm with.
To be fair, you have to be permission to sneeze.
That's true as well. But I think I'm not the only one out there. Did you have to ever lie to your significant other, or did you see teammates do that?
Oh, teammates, definitely. I could name one or a few that might have had to get a letter from the club, official letter, night out. Didn't believe it.
A player had to get...
Several players at times.
Well, I think you can see why it caused a problem. If you've got 5 single guys on the same night out and you've got 5 married ones, and because it becomes public what they're doing.
Well, the Man City thing. So there might have been married lads there at this party. They might have been in a separate room. They might have been doing something completely, or just been at the bar having a chat, doing whatever. But suddenly it's put on social media. Oh, there was 20 Italian models there, flaunting their assets. Then suddenly your wife go, well, what were you doing there? Where were you looking? What were you doing? It just causes it. It's just
friction at home.
Just stupidity.
Yep.
You get that when you walk down the street, Danny. You don't need to be proud. You get that sort of attention every day.
He doesn't. Yeah, but he doesn't care. He doesn't care at all.
But I think that's again. I think you know what, they're not, wives are not daft. They're not stupid. But again, it's come down to a matter of trust, isn't it? You have to forget that the dynamic of a group of footballers
is unique in the world.
Well, it is, because you're going from sort of 17-year-olds to 35-year-olds. Some at the end of their career. And if you put that in the real workplace, that's like a 20-year-old to maybe a 60-year-old. Now, that's a really strange demographic of people of experience and all that something. Some married, some not. Some got kids, some not. It's all different, especially now, different religions, ethnicities, all that type of thing. So it's an incredible mix thrown into such a small pot. So, yeah, I think back in the day, but footballers have always had a bad reputation for misbehaving. But I think that's just people in general. Again, it's just, in the media, it's just made out to be more than it is.
Was it Leicester City that they flew out
to Thailand?
They flew out somewhere else and had a Christmas party
in Thailand, and then Nigel Pearson's time, was it? And then his son got into trouble.
Yeah, but then there's they've done that, and then there's a few of the guys have gone
Vegas and all that type of thing.
Just to try and get away from that sort of the public. But then now it's so quick that they realise it's a team, whether they'll be in Denmark, whether they'll be in wherever Sweden is coming back now.
Why do footballers always seem to go to the same place for their holidays, with their own personal holidays, not a team bonding exercise? They always seem to go to like Vegas, Algarve.
Vegas is that party straight away that's guaranteed sunshine and full party that they can go, not being able to do it for so long.
And I think Vegas became popular 10 odd years ago maybe, because Premier League wasn't massive in the States, and players could go there and be almost anonymous, and I think that was a big part of it.
Did you go?
Oh, I've been to Vegas, yeah. You go, but no one. I could be anonymous. I could be anonymous in England. No one would really care. But I'm talking about the big stars would go, and they could get away with just blending in and not having to think about it too much.
About this problem, what we're talking about.
That's now changed again. The iPhone, 11 years old, whatever it is, changed the world. effectively, and proper pictures of people and all
Instant.
that type of thing. Yeah,
I think
camera
as well,
phones.
you know, like say the beach holidays, a lot will go to Dubai. I was being one of those
Dubai, yeah.
ones. Every summer I'd go there because what I know is the gym was good, the food's great, and the weather's going to be. You're going to go somewhere where the sun is going to be shining.
Because that's what you have to remember.
You've got that 2-week slot where you go
it's the end of
somewhere
May.
the Caribbean, you go somewhere Asia where you might think, well, the weather might slightly hit and miss. You know, when you get up in the morning, the sun's shining, you can relax. You'll have that little downtime.
Season finish is early May.
And easy for children as well, you know.
So where are you going to go that's still going to be warm? Europe's not that warm end of May. You know, it's still sort of end of spring. It's not height of summer. It's not August, September time.
So it's still a bit hit and miss at times. You go to your Mallorcas.
It can be a bit chilly.
Yeah,
so Dubai was like an obvious one because you're guaranteed the weather. Caribbean that time of year is no good. It's also a long.
They do go.
Well.
A lot of lads go to that, but you can have that cloudy week. And, and that's all.
A lot of lads like golf. So Portugal was the obvious.
Yeah.
You know, Portugal and Spain because it was, you know, the weather was nice but not ridiculously hot, and you could play golf all day. Those types of things.
And I don't think there was ever a summer where you didn't bump into a footballer.
I was just about to ask.
So you're like, you're walking along and you're sort of going to the hotel and you're looking, you're going, any minute now. Anyway, know him.
See, I used to deliberately
hello,
try and avoid that and just have a break.
But what can you do?
Well, we used to have a villa in the south of France, which was not really sort of a footballery destination.
Yeah, but did you when you went for dinner at night and you walked down into
you'd see somebody around.
You see somebody. So I went on my honeymoon and I thought, right, there was a private island in the Seychelles. I thought, well, definitely not going to see someone. There was a footballer. Then the second part of it was a safari. So we've gone off private thing into a safari. So I've walked at 7 a.m. as the truck leaves. There you go, thinking, great, no, just peace. Patrice Evra.
Patrice Evra.
So my point was, it's almost impossible that you don't see somebody. It's ridiculous.
But you've only got that time of year. You've only got so many destinations you can go to.
But how would you? There was one
and
island with
all footballers.
20 rooms in the middle of Seychelles that you had to land in to get. There was one on there, and then there was Evra on a truck in a safari where there was 3 couples.
Is there a nod of acknowledgement, like, yeah, you're a professional footballer?
Yeah, it's a hello, how are you? You know, generally you don't always know the people, but
did you ever ask for a picture because it's someone really big?
There's been one person in Dubai. I had a 3-year-old at the time. My brother-in-law was with me. His son was 4. We were sat in a Dubai hotel on the Palm, and Maradona was just finishing breakfast, and it was getting quite quiet.
Hang on.
And I've walked over.
Just pick up then.
And I've walked over with, obviously, I thought, well, what a great one for my brother-in-law was like, how brilliant would it be for the boys to get the pictures? So when they grow up, they've got that on the wall. It was a nice thing. So we actually give it a little bit longer. There was nobody else in the restaurant. So there was a table like this. We just finished. We got a big family, a load of kids type thing, but babies. And he was sat with a wife, a girl, or whatever it was, and just finished off breakfast. So as we've went over, and he's just gone, no. And that's the only experience. And you see all the other guys who have been superstars in this country, who every day, the Rooneys, the Beckhams, everyone else. And he had that sort of one experience where I've actually gone to somewhere, probably my only ever time, and it was actually,
he said no.
It was actually, he just went, no, I'm having my family.
So we were in south of France.
2 small babies. It was bizarre.
We've been to a place, Eden Rock. Quite sort of famous. We've been there for dinner, been there for lunch, someone's birthday, big group of us.
He must have got treated.
I don't think so. Yeah, he would. Yeah. Someone.
He got
the tip.
Frank Lampard was there with his wife Christine at the time, and Palamine's a big Chelsea fan, and I'm like, and it was a way over, and I just raised my hand. Played with 21s and stuff with Frank, and I just put my hand up, just acknowledge him. Thought, I don't want to be rude, not going to impose, whatever. We're all, slightly worse for it. Yeah. He's enjoying his little bit of private time, and clearly, it's a very private hotel and that type of thing. One of my pals, big Chelsea fan, and he's like, and all of a sudden we didn't realise he's gone over and started talking to him. I went, oh no, can't be doing that. We've dragged him back. And to be fair, my other pal he went over and he just went, I'm really sorry. Our mate's an absolute dick. Shouldn't have interrupted you. And he just paid for his dinner, and he just went, there you go, and he sorted Frank's bill out, for dinner, for spoiling his dinner. And to be fair, Frank was good as gold. Later on, he sent over a couple of rounds of drinks, and then came over and had a chat and all the rest of it. And it was just like.
But you would have known him. I mean.
Yeah, I know. But even still, it's a mutual. He's on his holidays. He doesn't want to be pestered. He's gone there for a reason.
But
And even though I know him, it's like... But again, it just goes to show that, he was very, very humble about it and reciprocated it and whatever.
But the circumstances, you look and you sort of go, at what situation can... Like, you see some of the guys now where they're getting pestered. You've seen them...
When do they say no?
The lads near us in Manchester, loads of footballers, and they're with all the kids, and they're juggling, and someone stood there going, tapping them on the shoulder. Well, they're almost changing a nappy. Do you know, like saying, "Give us a minute, will you?" And then they have to say no, and then they walk off, and the guy goes, "Unbelievable! They didn't even sign. How rude!" And you're like thinking, but they've got no chance, of doing it. But the situation with me when I went in, we waited till he almost finished his breakfast. So I got one experience of one of the most amazing footballers. So I've got nothing good to say because of that. There was no way he could have got out of that situation, and he did. But it just shows you get the wrong one at the wrong time. They might have been having a row. I don't know.
Could be, yeah, possibly.
I think you just have to be, again, it's respect. You respect people's time and privacy, and I think you can, most people on the approach, you can tell whether they're going to be like, no, let's not do this. And I've only ever done it with my kids. If the kids have seen somebody or whatever, and generally that's been sort of Chelsea
But the kids
players.
love it, don't they?
Of course they do.
The kids, my boy now, he's 9. He's horrific. He's like, whenever he sees a picture, come on, runs up, and you've got that picture, mate. Why are you going to get it again? When at games or whatever? Because you want to take him, you want to put him in good situations, good environments, because your kids, and you can put them in some good places. But you've got to almost go, come on, Messi, enough now. You've got 3 or 4 pictures. Stop doing it.
Because I always feel bad that you're sort of overcrowding people, and then you see like 20 other people. And I'm going, no, just hold back. It's like doesn't need that hassle. But yeah,
but it comes with it. Most of the guys accept it. They know it's coming. They're really good with it. And the odd time when they're really flustered, they'll get it. They haven't got that sort of second, and people don't always understand that. Of a particular situation. When you're coming out of stadiums and the guys, I was at Middlesbrough last week and Wayne Rooney was going to his car and he had some woman go, "Why has he not stopped the sign?" I was like, well, there's 500 people waiting.
Yeah.
And because then it's either you sign them all or you sign nothing. Yeah. Because you're going to upset
somebody.
Yeah. And it's like, well, why has he signed that one? Why didn't he stop for me? And you do feel a bit sorry. Sometimes can't win. It's very, very difficult for those players. So that's why sometimes the headphone goes on, the fake phone call comes out. It's like, pick the phone up, it's like, yeah, and then it rings.
In the car and gone.
Yeah, and get away from it. But it's not that they don't want to do it. It's,
Adam does that at when he's all at the game.
I do try.
Like, he's like,
hello. Pretend. My phone starts ringing. I'm not on the line.
Time is precious, isn't it? And if you've had a bad game or something's happened, you don't really want to stand there and because some people will abuse you in that situation as well. Not everyone's friendly, not everyone's kind, not everyone's going to say, "Oh, thank you very much for."
It's worth seeing a fan at night when it's like, say, you've had the game on a Saturday, you go out at night for dinner, and then you might be in a bar afterwards, and then this guy's been out all day, obviously at the football, and when they try to tell you about the game, they just don't go. They don't, and it gets a bit like, why, what? Whatever you say to them, whatever time you get, it's not good enough.
Yeah.
And then that's where it's that problem one. They're the ones who actually then make everybody.
That's the worst one ever, because they'll start having a go, and you're always polite for 5 minutes, whatever it is, and then you go, right, okay, and they grab you, and they go, no, hang on a minute, and you go, what are you doing? Don't
they'll lock you in.
Yeah, don't start grabbing me, and that's when I get offended. Then
I just saw that with the Pope. Someone wouldn't let go of his hand, and he was.
And then they go, well, no. I said, look, I'm not being funny. I've been polite.
Yeah.
I've come out with my friends and my family, and I've given you 5-10 minutes of my time. I'm now going to be back with the people I came out with.
Yeah.
Not with you. And then they get offended. And they start getting and that's when that moment where they can get a little bit aggressive.
Well, they'll say sometimes. You were rude and you're not, but you've given them 10 minutes already, but they don't like you sort of said, well, all right, well, how would you have played it different? Or who would you have picked different when they criticise? And you go, well, you give them the reasons. Well, did you see him yesterday in training? He'd had a problem or whatever, and they just don't want to listen to it. It's just what it is, isn't it? But
person I've seen that's really good with fans, Kevin Keegan, because he's a nice guy. You've played under him. I mean, he's a nice guy. I had to wait. It was supposed to be a 15-minute drop off at the Liverpool fan club here, but there were so many people there, and he stayed on and he refused to leave until everybody had something signed. I know that's an official capacity at a fan club.
But you're coming here to do a job, and that's your job.
Yep.
Effectively, is to stay and sign and talk to people and whatever. Sometimes after a game, or if you're in a restaurant or whatever, that's different. That's your personal time. That's your personal space.
Fans also came to recordings. They found out where we were at the time, etc. They would come, and he would always humour them. Always. He just seemed like a nice guy, and I was manager. Maybe he's too nice.
Yeah, but it's easier sometimes when you've finished and.
But I see your point. If
still like,
when you finish, you're not going to get nowhere near because it's daily, isn't it? When you're actually in it, playing it.
Like Beckham can't sign everybody's autograph or take a picture of everybody because he's a superstar.
I mean, he's got an amazing patience to see how much he's done to what he's done in his career, how big he is, and I'm sure I've not heard anyone who ever said he's tried to turn it down. He's always tried to fulfil it, which is great. And the bulk of the guys, they all do.
Yeah,
they all
definitely.
Try. You see them, they're all superstars.
It's only every now and then
you see people's reaction when you see some of the guys.
Somebody signed 100 autographs or taken 100 pictures, and there's one they don't, and that's always the one that people pick on. He didn't do that one. Well, there might have been, something. That's what it comes down to. I mean, the lads do an awful lot behind the scenes for charities, for good causes, all that type of thing. But it gets glossed over because it's always the one, less than 1% negative.
What sells papers or website clicks? It's the negative stuff.
Of course it is.
So
of course, that's always been and will always be the case. People just focus on the one bad thing out of 1,000, and that's it.
On that note, do you guys read back pages in terms of sport and all of that when you were players? Currently, I'm presuming you do now, but when you were playing.
I think you did. I think you always looked what was going on, what was written.
And
I don't think many can say they didn't look at all.
How much truth?
I think everyone's seen some stuff that was said.
How much truth is there to all the transfer rumours you always see?
Well, a lot of
percentage.
It's placed in, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you'd say half.
Half.
Yeah, but a lot of it's placed in to
Maybe
try and
less.
generate that interest, and there will be interest. The problem you've got is the clubs won't say no to certain players because they keep their option open. So even though you're 5 down on the list for that one spot of centre forward, whatever it may be, they won't say no, definitely not for us. Oh, well, that's a good option. So the agent goes back and says to the player or whatever, well, Leicester City are interested. And then obviously it just spreads that really. That's how it spreads.
I had that after the World Cup. Came back, I was one cap away from getting a new contract. I was thinking, that might be a while now. Gary Neville's fit again. Could be a while till I get that. Steve McLaren was interested. Obviously at Borough at the time. I think a couple of other clubs were interested. We played Borough, and don't know how it happened, but I think 2 of the papers that day, full page, £7 million bid for Danny Mills from Middlesbrough. Obviously, worked with Steve McLaren. There was a little bit of genuine interest, but there'd been no bid put in. And suddenly, the chairman comes and sees me after the game and says, about that new deal, let's get it done. Forget about the next cap. Let's get it done. Okay, it worked. Job done.
Yeah.
You sort of.
They are planting that all the time.
Yeah, sure. You can create interest, and that type of thing. And actually, and again, if there's a club interested, tentatively, and there's a big story in the paper, sometimes it just thinks, actually, maybe we better act. Because whether there's something in it or not, can we gamble? Can we wait? Maybe there's. So, yeah, of course it is. It's all smoke and mirrors.
All right.
But there's a lot of favours done like that, where an agent has a good relationship with another club and says, will you just back me on it, that if someone calls you, say, well, we have had a conversation at least to get the new deal done. And that's just the way it is. They have a good link with journalism. Each journalist, they might give another player a particular interview. Will you just run that one to say he's linked with that, and that? That's what it is. It's that game of just generating a little bit of interest.
All right, I'm getting the signal to wrap things up. So final 2 questions here. Doesn't have to be a long answer, but I've always remembered both of you as being very tough players. You just talked early on about the red cards you both got, etc. Have you ever been intimidated by another player on the pitch? Because I looked at someone like Dan Burn, who plays left back, right? And he would have gone up against you if he was overlapping. He's 6'6". I would be intimidated by that.
No.
Bradley's just
No.
No.
Not like that. Certain ones who maybe have something different. It wouldn't just be then size. You go back and you sort of say, historically, there'd be players who really had a different edge, or you'd fear them because they're so good. Not necessarily because of the size.
So, like Aki Fenwa, who's a tank.
Yeah, for instance, if you played against you or a player who was really strong, you'd feel like, well, if I get into a wrestle with him, he's going to win. Yeah. He's going to have overpower me. So how do I then have something different?
But
do I not let him touch me?
Yeah.
So there's obviously always that. What do you see in someone of
But if
fear?
there was someone that was, bad challenges, you'd always think, well, if he's going to go high, I'm going to go higher. I'll look after myself. I'll protect myself in that situation. I mean, Big Dunk, I suppose Big Dunk, my first game, Big Dunk, was always a bit wary of Big Dunk because he was an animal.
The elbow had just come and just see it. But you can't do it now.
Yeah.
Literally, every angle, but where before, literally, it was one of those where you're watching yourself all the time. There'd be slight elbows, you'd have a couple of stitches in the top of your eye, or whatever it would be. The game was tougher. But that's what it was.
Was that an intimidation for you, Big Dunk?
Not, I mean, I was 17. I didn't get on, I suppose, but not once I started playing. No.
Okay.
I think as a group, vocally as well, you could be intimidated. So you play in a particular team. If you know 2 or 3 who've got
Leeds,
a bit of
we
character,
were horrible.
So you say, right, let's get on these today. So when they're in the tunnel or when the game's starting, it would be ruthless. You'd say, you go and look after him, and let him hear it. And that
on purpose. You want them to hear.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some of the fullbacks
Mind games.
I can't play with me said, first time you touch it, I'm going to smash you into row, right through the stands. Second you take your touch, get ready for it. I'm coming straight at you. That was normal. That was normal. You'd go, let's have a go. Come on, bring it on. Now it's unheard of, but it was really ruthless getting in. But there's when you set off. When I set off in midfield, it was like Barry Horn, really tough midfield player. Vinnie Jones would have been in there, and you're sort of saying, well, how do you test yourself in that? Keane was in there. Are you unpredictable? What would they do?
That was the difference when we played. There was a huge unpredictability, and players could snap and get away with it. That was the difference. You can't do that now. I mean, now you see a little push in the face and players are rolling over. I mean, it didn't happen in our day. You'd be embarrassed.
But as well, as I remember playing with Lee Cattermole at Wigan, and it was Scott Parker and Mark Noble playing for West Ham.
Yeah.
And they had a bit of Cockney, and it was getting a bit one of those. Lee Cattermole had got caught late, and then he's looked at me, gone, are we going? He's went, come on, let's up that level. So it's getting heated. There's one each way. And then literally, Cattermole didn't know what the stop button was. He turned round, next one, he's gone ridiculously hard, But it's like you say, that you had a certain group of players or a team where you would become nasty, horrible, ruthless. And you're saying at Leeds, they were a strong team.
We were shocking at Ellen Road. Ellen Road was one of the most intimidating places to come, and especially in Europe, we would just kick teams off the park, and it was easy to do. There was me, Radaby.
Bowyer.
No, well then you have Harty. Harty was nasty. Would always leave his foot in. Bowyer, Batty, Decor, Alan Smith.
Yeah.
Tough.
Well, yeah.
So it's even starting from the front, where actually you don't often get.
Yeah.
You've got someone at the front niggling straight away, setting that tone. You can go and back that up, send him one way, then they'd come inside, the next one goes.
And you would, like Brandon said, you'd have your teammate, and you'd line people up sometimes.
Well, you'd know, wouldn't you? You'd say, go on, go tight, send him inside.
Yeah.
And your second he knows he's going to press, I can come, he'll come from the right, and I can come from inside.
Scholesy used to do that brilliantly for his teammates, for Keane and for Butt and people like that. Scholesy would go flying into a tackle, get nowhere near the ball, nowhere near the player, but the player would jump, or the player would step it, and the ball would just run away a little bit. And then 2 seconds later, Keane and Butt would come, bang,
smash, and
just because that person is out of control of the ball's got away from a little bit, and it was setting it up. And it was a partnership, and used to work like that.
So the nicest guy in the team was Nigel Martin.
It was horrible. We were horrible.
But he was okay.
Do you know, like fear? So you say fear opponents. So you'd say, well, you're going to try and affect it. Who would affect you? Who would not? But someone like Scholes, you had to try and go and get, and you couldn't as a midfield player because he just seemed to know.
Yeah. See you coming.
Amazing.
Intelligence.
See you coming, and also be able to move the ball at huge pace with the touch being perfect, just away slightly each time, and that's when you know he's top of the tree, and so
why he's so highly spoken.
Yeah, so you'd fear that someone he'd destroy you if you did.
I'd always fear being made a mug of rather than being intimidated.
Yeah, if you're a
physically.
particular wide player, and you're coming up and you're thinking, how many times
he's
going to run you down the line. So a particular good one. I think good players rather than you never feared them physically of that.
It was the fear of someone making you look horrific rather than physically intimidating you.
You mentioned Frank Lampard, but when I've played against him, and he'd look at it and I'd say, all right, Frank, we're going to have fun today.
I love that.
Not you. He'd just look at me and go, I can't be doing with you
But
today.
you get this crazy look in your eyes, even when you're doing it
time.
now.
And I just think, brilliant.
Yeah.
I'm so glad he said that, because now I'm going to do it anyway, but now I really want to do it, because he hates it. No, it's going to keep going tight with him.
Yeah.
And it shows you can affect them slightly. They're looking over the shoulder, and it does.
And fine margins at that level of the game.
Yeah, but they're brilliant players.
Yeah.
So, if you're not as good a player, which I wasn't, I had to try and affect it in a different way.
All right, well, I did promise you 2 questions before we wrap up. The final one I was shocked this week. Shocked. This is a question just for you.
Oh, God. Let me just guess.
So
No.
I thought you said you were allowed out.
No. Oh, only on occasion.
I can put a 3-1 bet that I know what the question is.
Really? Okay, try me.
I'll be better tackle.
No.
Oh, go
No,
on.
it's actually about Danny.
Oh, is it?
All right.
It's
okay.
what I put on Instagram. Don't say anything just yet. I found a picture of Danny when he had hair.
All right.
Can you guess what colour hair Danny Mills had as a young
You better
man?
be careful here, by the way,
Why?
because I think you're going to be wrong.
But that picture. Okay.
I think you're going to be wrong.
You can give the answer. I mean, if he's right or
Well,
wrong.
what he's
Wait.
guessing at is blonde.
Yes.
Yeah, it is. It
Blonde.
was.
That's the picture I put up on
Oh, right, that's
Instagram.
fine, yeah.
And I was shocked. I never knew Danny was blonde.
I thought you were going to say transparent.
No.
He was born with grey hair and lost
That's
it
the
at about
thing.
age 11.
I can't imagine you. I mean, I've seen the picture, but you don't seem like a blonde
Yeah,
to me.
well,
You, blonde.
ditzy blonde, no.
Yes.
I went bald at 18-ish. So
Can I ask you a question? If it
Okay.
was modern day today, and you were at that stage at 18, and the options for you were different
No.
like they are today,
No.
would you have dived in and saved it?
No.
Would you have done a Rooney?
I couldn't wait to get rid
I
of it.
don't believe you.
No, even now I've
I
asked.
don't believe you.
I've
How many
asked.
times do you have to shave your head?
I've asked to have it lasered.
Every 2 days?
Because if not, I look like Friar Tuck. I look like a monk.
That looks like someone else. That
It does.
Are you sure that's him? It
That's
looks
him.
like
You know,
someone
like you
else.
get the monks with like the ring around the head. If I leave
Yeah.
it too long, I get one of them. I'd rather have none at all. It's, do you know what? It's the
Oh.
easiest thing on the planet.
Yeah.
Well, you have to shave it twice, 3 times
Yeah,
a
but it's
week.
easy. It's like 5 minutes and less than.
Or you can have your hair cut
it's in
once
the,
a month.
It's in the shower. Just boom, done.
So you wouldn't have saved
No.
it? What do you believe him?
I-
Do you believe him? At age 18, young footballer, he wouldn't have thought, I can save this like the
The
other
wing backs
other
were pushing on at 21.
Where the
Yeah.
other footballers are saving it now. We've seen Wayne Rooney,
No.
lots of other footballers, by the way, have had it done.
It sounds
Some
like
real
you're trying.
high
do you
profile
know what
one.
makes me laugh? People.
I would have it done. When my crown goes here, I'm just waiting for it.
People-
I'll have to go and get it
Yeah,
patched
you're
up.
Vorneys, mate. That's why I used to.
Vorney's had it done 3 times. I've got a deal, but Michael
Okay.
Vaughan,
Yeah.
the cricketer, has
Yeah.
got
But that's the. I mean,
deal.
I look at it now. And people go, oh, being bald really suits you. It's like I go, I don't really have a choice. It's like it is what it is.
I think we should ask the audience over here at Astro to
Get a wig.
chip in and let's get
Well,
Danny.
chip in and
Let's
get you
get Danny.
surgery.
Let's go and see what it looks like. Because
Yeah.
if you don't like it, you can shave it
Exactly,
off back
yeah.
to where you were. Let's try it.
Get a little wig.
Would you be up for that?
If you want to get me a little wig,
Oh,
that's
that
fine.
would be amazing. That would be amazing. Okay, thank you very much, gents. We've gone slightly over time, but great content as always. Michael Brown, Danny Mills, squeaky bum time.